I had a partner previously for a while, and that didn't work out particularly well. There were location issues. She was in Baltimore, and that that didn't work. And we had somewhat overlapping skill sets in a way that was unproductive. Um, and then Jamie came along.
She had a fiber background. She was interested in dyeing.
Yeah,
She was
yeah, she
interested.
was
She was
also a
interested more
dyer.
in
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. We had overlapping skill sets. We were both dyers. We were both focused on the fiber and the colors. And somewhere in there, Jamie came along, and I first hired her for relatively small things. She just wanted to have a part-time, short-term job. And then it became immediately clear what skills she had. And they were not my skills at all.
enough. I realized kind of as I started to work with Gryphon that I really, I was used to being around a creative atmosphere, almost 7 days a week. So I was used to that, but I didn't particularly want to be the one creating things. But I love the idea of harnessing someone's creativity. I think we both share kind of the particular entrepreneurial spirit of self-driven project starter. Like in our non-professional lives, we just will start things, and we've just been kind of watching growth and saying, well, when is, what does the real success of what a business is doing actually look like? And is it is it a combination of numbers and dollars and trending influence in an industry and all of that? And so we were talking about a lot of that and watching a lot of that. And I think you hit a point where we wanted to try and re-envision how the organization felt.
Yeah, it was too big, and it wasn't fun for me anymore. I was creating colors, but I wasn't dyeing much myself. And I felt like I spent a lot of time sitting at my computer and a lot of time with staff, despite Jamie's wonderful HR work, still staff coming into my office and crying and all this drama. And I didn't want to be managing all these people. That was never what I wanted to do.
It's not just about how much money you're making and how much you're producing. Yes, that's absolutely a factor. But that's a factor whether you're a public enterprise or you're a family or you're a town. You always have to think about your financial and fiscal well-being. But you've got all these other, cultural factors that go into making a company what it is.
We're dyeing like 4 skeins in a pot. It's a very small lot, and everything is hand done. And when we had a larger staff, it became really difficult to oversee the quality there, make sure that all the colors were coming out consistently the way we wanted to, with the same amount of attention to detail that was needed. And I think we were just getting to the upper limit of what was workable there. And with a smaller staff, there are 2 of us that dye the yarn. And it's super consistent. We know what we want, and we can watch it really carefully. And I think handcraft work is only so scalable.
Yeah.
You just can't go up to mass-produced volumes and still have it be handwork. That's the wonder of this social media site. We get to see our yarn in action all the time. And sometimes in funny places. Most often we see it on the social media site. Sometimes people send us pictures. A couple of years ago I was at a tattoo convention, and I saw a woman wearing what was obviously a hand-knit shawl. And I just went up to admire it. I wasn't wearing anything knitted. I was just out at this convention. And I said, "Oh, that's a really lovely shawl." And she said, "Thank you, it's your yarn." It was great. It was such a lovely moment. I design the yarns. We send the specifications to the mill. We go back and forth developing it with them. And then they source the fiber and spin it for us. We have certain restrictions. Like, there's mass farming of cashmere that goes on in China in order to be able to produce $20 cashmere sweaters for Walmart. And it's environmentally really problematic. There are dust clouds arriving in California from the desertification occurring from this cashmere farming, and it's poor quality anyway. So we're particular. We can give the mill restrictions. We can say, don't buy any Chinese cashmere. We don't want to. We want Mongolian cashmere that's still herded in the plateaus and by these small-scale herders. So we do have that kind of control, yeah, where we feel like it's important.
I think our whole approach to putting a color collection together, we're constantly refining that. So I think those are the spaces as we've become more and more established. And yes, there's a lot of these techniques that are being used, but the refining it is really kind of thinking about us as a whole color palette and expertise that we have is something that we've had a lot of fun and working on in that regard.
I think it all comes down to being a little fearless, to realizing that life is short, and if you don't want to be working for somebody else, you just have to try. Do your own thing, try. And I think a lot of people want some sort of assurance. Well, if I'm going to leap off this cliff, I need to know. I need what's there. And you don't know. But you never really know about anything. And I guess it's taking the leap without knowing and realizing, be okay, you'll figure it out.